Welcome back, fellow youths, for the spooky part 2! In part 1, we talked about the rumor that Thomas Edison performed an experiment where he tried to contact the dead with a device he invented, and the dubious 1933 article that described it. The rumors of a so-called spirit phone were started by none other than Thomas Edison himself. In an interview for the October 1920 issue of the American magazine, he said, "I have been at work for some time building an apparatus to see if it is possible for personalities which have left this earth to communicate with us." Now, we shouldn't mistake this for a belief in ghosts, or even a soul. He thought that the cells that make up the human body were guided by smaller particles that he called life units. These units were essentially the things that told cells what to do, such as giving people unique fingerprints and forming memories in the brain. DNA wasn't discovered in Edison's lifetime, so it's the best he could come up with. Edison's view of the nature of life and afterlife was akin to the law of conservation of matter. Since matter can't be created or destroyed, our cells are converted into other forms of matter by the process of decay. So it made sense to Edison that the life units would go out into nature as well, and might contain a person's personality, and that if the personality survived physical death, it would be in a swarm of these particles, and being physical particles, they would be something that could be detected and measured with the right equipment. In his journal, Thomas Edison describes a sort of valve that would amplify whatever force was applied to it, so that these incredibly tiny particles could use it to communicate with humans. But he understood that all of this was just conjecture. He never described his device beyond very vague terms. Edison's lab has been thoroughly cataloged, and no device, blueprints, or sketches have ever been found. There were never any witnesses to corroborate the story of the experiment with the spirit phone. And even if the experiment happened the way the legend claims, Edison never wanted to prove the existence of ghosts. He wanted to see if his hypothesis of the so-called life units had evidence to back it up. He wasn't a spiritualist, he didn't believe in the popular Western view of the soul, and even if the spirit phone was built, the experiment to contact the dead likely didn't happen. None of this is to try to say whether or not ghosts exist. That belief, at least at this point in history, is mostly informed by personal experience. And as Thomas Edison said in the 1920 interview where he first revealed plans for his device, we don't know 1/millionth of 1% about anything. Have a happy Halloween.